Welcome back, everybody. Mr. Kong is now the manager of Scotland, right? This save is all about making Scotland win the World Cup. So that's the overall goal. And to do that, I've taken over at Celtic as well. Right, so the reason I chose Celtic, they've got the most money. They've got the one of the best youth development systems in Scotland. Pretty sure Hibs had more, but they're able to attract these Scottish players all the time. So within the club, they've got players like Adam Montgomery, um, Luke McCowan, but they've not really got these high potential players. We've got Cal McGregor, who we can um, keep going with until he retires from the international duty, which he has done in real life. But the main thing is we need to bring these players through, and there's not many. There's no one here that we could bring through. Maybe Josh Deddy, if we want to take him up, we could try get him into the Scottish national team. But what we're gonna do is put this on doubtful. Do nationality is partially Scottish because we could make people change their nationalities. Technically, they could decide to change their nationalities if they haven't appeared for the country. Like Cameron Burgess could decide he wants to play for Scotland if we think he's good enough to play for Scotland. But of course, he's not too young. So, like Luca Barrington, I could be like, maybe he'd be good enough to play for Scotland. So, if I ask him to represent the nation, he rejects it. So, we need to improve the national team to get better to attract these players to want to play for them. A young player here, Callan McKenna, young goalie, he could be the first target here. We could bring him in immediately and try create him into a better player. So I'm going to get through this first transfer window. I'll come back if I've signed any players. I'll let you know. Show you how we're looking tactically for both setups and how we are going to grow these players. So see you after this transfer window. Alright, guys, transfer window is done, but you find me here in a bit of a slump. So in the league, we've won two, drawn one, and lost one. But this isn't how we should be doing. We're Celtic. We should be top of the table. Obviously, we're underperforming. Our tactic, there's no problem with it. It seems to be players underperforming because we're creating XG. We're just not doing too well. So on that note, we did make some transfers starting from here. Now, in we brought John Laughlin, who is our starting striker for the season. He might be the reason why we're underperforming. 0 goals, 0 assists. Kevin Arthurs came in. He's too young to loan out, but we are training him to play left wing back. He's got 4.5 star potential. He came in for around 500k from Dundee. We brought in Ray Clark, a young goalie, another 15-year-old, too young to be loaned out. So we're keeping him in the under 18s for a year. We also brought in Callan McKenna, who is our starting goalie. I wouldn't say it's his fault that we have lost the game already. I like him, so good goalie. He will be a good goalie later on in this save. We brought in Sam Chambers for 500k from Leeds, who we have loaned out to Stirling Albion in Scottish League 2. Get him some game time, he's 16, it's good for him. Same with Tobias Norberg, who we signed from Hibs for 300k, who we loaned out to Annan Athletic. We tried to train him to be a striker before he left, but loan time was probably better, so we let him go out on loan. And then we also signed Rory Whittaker, and he is playing right wing back for me this season. Now, I actually think he's been pretty decent. His average rating says otherwise, but I think if we keep him on, he'll develop quite nicely. So let's just hope I don't get sacked from the job here. Also, in news, I chose my first Scotland squad. Where to see the squad there is. This is the team we chose: Angus Gunn, Ryan Porteous, Scott McKenna, Kieran Tierney, Aaron Hickey, Scott McTominay, Billy Gilmore, Lewis Ferguson, Jacob Brown, Che Adams, Craig Gordon, Grant Hanley, Dominic Kiam, Jack Hendry, Ryan Gold, Ryan Christie, John McGinn, Liam Kelly, John Suter, David Turnbull, Ross Stewart, Nathan Patterson, and Josh Doig. No Andy Robertson because he is injured for this campaign. So we are taking part in your Euros qualifying because you can't go a year forward in this game. Currently, before the save point, apparently there's 3 draws to us, so that's nice. And in this break here, we are taking on Norway and Cyprus. So yeah, we'll try and improve the form at Celtic. It's not looking too good. We also changed the tactic there because they are a dominant side, right? They're dominant in their league. So the tactic did perform in pre-season against big teams, so we'll add it back for the big games. But they should be winning these games, so I've gone a little bit different. You know, it didn't seem too attacking. Maybe I've gone more attacking, maybe it's less attacking. I just feel like it's more secure. So we're kind of playing a lot at the back. I don't know. Anyway, you'll see me in January. We'll talk about any more signings that happened in the January window and how we got on up until then. So, see you in January. So, since you guys were last with me, you may know that we were in a spot of bother. So, we did not qualify for the Euros. We didn't qualify for the Euros. Let's just look at the schedule because it's quite embarrassing, I've got to be honest. So, this was the first game in charge. A 4-0 loss to Norway. We then just managed to beat Cyprus, by the way, just 93rd minute. Then we lost to Spain 2-0. This was absolutely crucial. A 4-0 win before we lost 2-0. Because without that 4-0 win, we would finish below Georgia in the group, which means we wouldn't have qualified for this European Championship qualifying playoff. We can still get to the Euros, only through the playoff. Alright? So, that is on the 23rd of March. So we've got that to look forward to. I also managed to get Callum McGregor to come out of international retirement, which is good. On the other hand, I turned it around with Celtic after a really bad start to the season. We've turned it around. We've taken top of the table thanks to an old trusty formation for me, Dunfermline 4-2-3-1, from a save I did with Dunfermline, not on this YouTube channel. I just like the formation because I'm pretty sure we went unbeaten in the first season. So I've decided to take it on. Let's actually look at some transfers because there's some players there you won't recognise from the start of the season. This guy, apparently, right, came in January and is immediately gone. I don't know. I didn't do that transfer, but so we signed Isiosa Sule for £2 million. He is on the left wing, as you saw. We're going to train him there. Hopefully he can get better. We need some wingers in this side. And Louis Jackson came in for £6 million from Man United, and we're going to train him up. He looks decent already. We're going to train him up to be much better. On the outs, we did lose Cameron Carter-Vickers, £10 million, because he was not going to play the second half of the season with Louis Jackson coming in. That wraps that up. I'll show you development at the end of the season. That's probably a more accurate time frame. But John Laughlin has scored 9 goals after his rubbish start to the season. He's turned it around since joining us. But yeah, this formation seems to be doing just fine, as we haven't lost since I changed to it, I'm pretty sure. Changed it here. We lost to Real Madrid, but that's expected. And, gonna be honest with you, we got through to the next round of the Champions League against RB Leipzig. We'll of course be playing the young lads in that one to get some development for them. But overall, we can still qualify for the Euros. That's a positive. And I think I'm going to see is when we get our youth intake and we'll look over maybe all of the Scottish players that we can find from these youth intakes all over the world. So, see you in a couple months. Alright then, we have reached the next gen list. And here we have Ben Doak, who is on the list. And he's a Scotland player, so we're going to mention that. And he's appeared twice. And let's see what game he appeared in. It was the Malta friendly. It was his first appearance. Alright. No other Scotland players in this. We've just got the one. But we'll soon have more. Not from our youth intake. We had a Swedish goalie. He's part Scottish, so we can keep him on. Hopefully he chooses Scotland. A Scottish centre back. I'm pretty sure, yeah, he's on an actual contract. I don't know why it's telling me to offer a contract. He's definitely on a contract. And Scott Christie here, a winger. He's alright. Mostly though, I was here to show you, well, this is how we're going just top of the table right now. You can probably see in the top left there, we lost to Ukraine, but that's not who we were playing. We played Bulgaria. We won 3-1 in the semi-finals, and to qualify for the Euros, we fell short. We outplayed them. 2 XG, 20 shots, 6 on target. We just couldn't find the goal. And that is devastating. I don't know how I'm still in the job. Because they did this in real life. I've called the save safe in Scotland. I've made it bloody worse. So, next, in the World Cup. In the World Cup, we're going to try and qualify. Yeah. We'll win the Nations League, which I don't think has been drawn yet. It's not been drawn. So I'll win the Nations League, and then we'll qualify for the World Cup as well. But anyway, I'll see you at the end of the season. It was really just to show you the youth intake, and what a flop. And we'll go over some development of all the players. So yeah. Alright, we actually won the league after that awful start to the season. We actually brought it back, held on. It was a bit shaky, definitely a bit shaky, but we ended up with the lowest amount of losses, lowest amount of goals conceded, and of course, the most points to win the league. Profile-wise, John Laughlin, our little guy, developed brilliantly. 20 goals this season, 1 goal away from Rangers Danilo. With 21. He also got 3rd in the average rating, so that, I guess that makes him player of the season. That's what I would say. And in goals, we had 12 clean sheets from Callan McKenna. He conceded less goals than games played. So really, he is the greatest goalie of all time. He's developed magnificently as well. Wanted by Chelsea already. I've just had to offer him a new contract to try and keep him over the summer. We signed him for 5 million. He's already wanted. After a year, what a player, right? So, let's look at some development here. So we already seen Callum McKenna and Lachlan, so let's remove them from this. We'll start McGregor because he's not really going to develop. We're looking at Callum McGregor leaving this summer. To get some money in the club, he's a bit old to stay in this team because we're trying to develop the players for the future. But he seems to have grown strength and pace wise, slowing down his reduction of stats. So we need someone to replace him. Another player who probably wouldn't grow was Greg Taylor. We kind of will be keeping him around for a little while. I don't know if I can go on the screen. Oh, that's a spoiler. Why did I go on that screen? Because we only have £13 million to spend. We can't get someone like Josh Doig. But as I say that, you could see we've already made absolutely tons of transfers. So yeah, Greg Taylor will be staying probably. Stephen Welsh has grown very well. We've even given him an extra bit of potential that he can grow into. He looks like he could be much better than he already is. 15 tackling's great. Heading on the ball, he's quite tall. He is going to be a bigger player for us next season. And maybe even for Scotland. I think I gave him his first cap I did against Bulgaria. I think if he'd played against Ukraine, we probably would have won. That's my mistake. Lewis Jackson, another centre-back, has grown as well. His marking's definitely gone up and his tackling. I remember that being at 11. I think his passing's gone up from 12 as well. He's not too tall, but he can hit the ball and he can jump it. Jump the ball. No, he can jump up to meet it. His physicals are decent. He's 18 years old, so he's going to grow even further. He's consistent. He's fairly determined. He's gonna keep improving. Let's look at Rory Whittaker, who hasn't really improved. I think I am still training him to be a wing back, so that's probably my bad. We'll train him to be a right back. He's not really improved too much. He only got 25 games this season, averaging a 6.85, so maybe he should have developed a little more. So we should be a little worried about him, I think. He's currently operating at League 1 level, but we haven't really got the money to replace him. Alright, another man that came in January, Isiosa Sule. His physicals are great. He's developed pretty well. He's scored 4 goals, 2 assists in 12 games. And, yeah, playing off this left wing. He's got the ability for it. And I think he could be very decent in the future if we keep developing him. He's very, very consistent apparently. Contains balance under pressure. Fairly determined. He is going to make it. He's going to make it. We can be happy with him. Competitions. We won the Viaplay Cup. We got knocked out of the semi-final of the Scottish Cup by Rangers and the round of 16 by RB Leipzig of the Champions League. So at least we made it to the round of 16. We've seen this. Scott Christie is apparently now rated way higher. We might see him in the first team, or we can loan him out. Although he is developing very well in the academy so far. Nadim Ibrahimovic also developing very well. He seems pretty decent. I don't know. Let me ask him to represent the nation. No, he won't represent us right now. And Gordon Dolan, centre half, could see a future in this squad as well. So, Scotland wise, of course, you know, we got knocked out of the Euros qualifiers by Ukraine, just like the World Cup qualifiers a couple of years ago. We got some friendlies locked in against Argentina and Ecuador before we got drawn into this group for the Nations League. Croatia, France, Switzerland. We are going to struggle, I think. Croatia away is our first game, France at home. Now, that'll be in the next episode, obviously, but that is going to be an absolute mission, and we're going to hope we can do it. So, national pool wise, this is what the screen looks like. Lennon Miller is on the Celtic transfer list. He's wanted by Man United, but we're trying to sign him at Celtic so we can develop him for the Scotland team. If we can sign him, he's going to get into this team very soon. So, other players that we're going to be looking at, of course, Callum McKenna could see his way into the Scotland team. We've got Rory Wilson. Should we check who played well? Let's check who played well for us. It's right here. Goals wise, we got. Oh, this might be overall. Assists aren't. So Robo's had 3 assists. Let's just check here. 3 goals from McTominay and McGinn. What is going on? I'm so confused. Alright, yeah, 3 goals from McTominay and McGinn. Robo was the best performing player with the most assists, and McTominay got 2 Player of the Matches awards. So with this update, we could check how the boys performed here. So John Loughlin, of course, our highest goal scorer. Isios Sassola with 5. Rory Whittaker with 1. Which Jackson did not score at all. Assist-wise, Greg Taylor got 10. Rory Whittaker actually got 6 all round. Isios Sassola with 3. And then average rating, John Loughlin was our best player. Now, I'm going to keep playing, but I'm going to see you in the next episode of Saving Scotland.